Hello, Professor Martinez. Here are my findings in relation to the article Teaching English as a Foreign Language Through Literature. First, I would like to start saying that this article presents evidence that literature for children can effectively be used to acquire English as a foreign language in students of all ages. Having this said, an early exposure to language experience during the beginning years of life can determine the success in language acquisition. Students will increase their level of comprehension if they are challenged beyond their level of expertise. And in addition to this, having an experience in language at an early stage is essential. For instance, to listen to polished reading contributes not only to master English, but to develop vocabulary. I found important aspects in the review of literature, and those aspects are three, which are qualities of children's literature, comprehensible input, and early foreign language scholars. I will explain briefly about these three important aspects. The quality, there are fundamental things to take into account. For instance, children's literature should be child-centered. They should have a simple setting. They should be vivid and to have concrete language. In relation to the comprehensible input is divided into two important aspects: the language acquisition and the language learning. Now, in this article, there are four scholars mentioned, and one of those is Krashen. And Krashen clarifies a fundamental difference between these two functions of language: the language acquisition and the language learning. Language acquisition focuses on comprehension of language. On the other hand, language learning focuses on rules of grammar, which produce correct speech. These two are necessary, and both are only achievable through a consistent use of the language. Now, speaking of the scholars, I just mentioned Krashen, but many years before Krashen, Quintilian, he was born in Spain and traveled at a young age to Rome. He became a teacher and he taught Latin. And his methods were very interesting. He did read aloud, and then he will ask students to retell the fable that he previously read in their own words. Later on, students were made to write the fables, and students listen also to poetry and then paraphrase it into prose. So as we can see, one acquires the language by hearing and reading. Then we have another scholar, Erasmus. He based his thoughts in four important points. The rules of usage are derived from examination of the actual language as it is spoken. Also, he thought that the rules of grammar should be taught only after they have been acquired intuitively by reading. And all grammar rules should be accompanied by plenty of examples. Also, he was a believer that pictures should be used to illustrate a new material whenever possible. And he thought also that it was really fundamental to use visual aids when teaching. Now, the last scholar is Comenius, and he thought that the previous background knowledge of students was really key for the success. He also urged teachers to present not just one meaning, but also multiple common meanings. Comenius wrote textbooks that were compatible with his instructional methods, which is the case of Orbis Pictus, which was an illustrated dictionary with wooden pieces. Lastly, we have here the applications on this article that mentions the importance of the story selection, the personal interest. It is essential and motivational. Listening, what this will do is will help develop a vocabulary and for the students to be able to make predictions. The shared reading, students will be able to summarize their own readings. And the independent reading, which is the students level, this means that they recognize 99% of the words and they comprehend 90% of the passage. And finally, we have drama. Four key aspects here: story theater, creative drama, role play, and readers theater. These four aspects, in my opinion, they're really important. Students really get engaged by doing these activities, and is really meaningful for them. As a review and conclusions, I found the article and the reading really interested. And what I can say is that the dynamic duo is key. And this dynamic duo is meaningful teaching and quality literature for children. I truly enjoyed the article, and I hope that you do enjoy this presentation. Thank you.